Yeah.
Right, so first off, thanks for doing the interview with us.
No problem at all.
How does it feel to be back in the UK again?
It's excellent, actually. It's really cool to be back here. It's a great place for, I think, the style of music that we play. And also, this time around, it's great to be back going outside of more than just the one festival appearance. So it's good to reach out and do like a string of shows. So yeah, it's really cool.
Was there a lot of preparation needed for the tour here?
Well, we got a new drummer, so that's been the only lineup change we've ever had, and it was sort of something that was in probably around sort of 6 weeks leading up to the tour, so we did have to knuckle down with George, our new drummer, and get the ship into shape, so to speak. But I think that the way we're playing now is probably the best we've ever sounded, and everybody's sort of really enthused by what George brings to the band, so it's really cool.
That's great. One of the things I was going to ask you was because it's been quite a recent change, wasn't it? It was at the end of March it was announced.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
How did that change come about? Did you moved on something else? Or?
Look, it was probably as much as we've done our best apart as friends with Jim. It was just something that sort of growing in probably different directions as far as like where we all sort of saw the band and where we wanted to keep continuing with. And for us, I think it was just time for change in that sort of area. And I'd known George for several years, and it was just a situation that arose that when it was time to get a new drummer, that we're really excited to have him on board. So.
Brilliant. So how do you feel that having George there? Because I mean, when you listen to Serenade, the drums are such an important part of that album.
There's a lot of accents that make that bombasticness to our sound. And it's kind of got that, a lot of them sort of have that pomp, stop-start type arrangement. But no, he's walked straight in and given a little bit more flair even maybe, and it's certainly from a live band feel and an energy that should be there driving the band. It's probably more energetic than it's ever been, so it's awesome.
So regarding the set list for this tour, do you have a particular favourite song that you like to play live, or is there anything that you particularly find a challenge live perhaps during rehearsals?
I think that obviously this time round, learning the whole set or even a longer version of what we played at Firefest last year has been a little bit of a challenge, just simply because we have someone new. And obviously, as you said, like drums are a massively important part of some of those songs. So I think there's nothing in particular that I think we really sort of had too much trouble bringing to the live set. As far as favourites go, we're definitely going to be playing a song this time around called Show Your Cards, which wasn't included on the last tour, that we wanted to, but we weren't sure. It's a little bit poppier and we weren't sure what the reactions would be, but as we toured around, people gave us feedback that they loved that song and we loved it, so it was the first thing we wanted to do was bring it into the set. So it'll be fun to play that for the first time.
It's one of the songs I remember from Serenade as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Now, I know you've done a lot of shows before with Serpentine in Germany, because you're on the same label with them.
Yeah.
How familiar are you with 10? Because they're quite a different musical style, aren't they, to yourselves?
Yeah, they're a little more classic rock, or maybe even, I guess, just sort of like almost period era melodic rock, but very, very good. Yeah, I mean, I had Gary Hughes solo records, and then obviously went into the first album with Vinnie Burns, sort of off the back of the both of them coming from, various backgrounds, obviously Vinnie and Dare and that sort of thing. So for me, I'm a particular fan of like the first sort of 3 albums. I really love some of those songs. So I'm looking forward to hearing Can't Slow Down or Don't Cry Live. That would be really cool. So yeah, I can be somewhat of a fanboy at times, so it should be cool.
So you'll be coming out into the crowd after you.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So.
Brilliant. Now, some of the audience here probably aren't going to be as familiar with White Widow as they were with maybe Serpentine or 10. So how does that affect maybe your choice of set list? And would you say that adds a bit more pressure on the band?
Oh, look, I mean, all we can try to do is gauge from feedback through, I guess, social network and other shows we've done around the world as to what people tend to like the most, especially when we've been an unknown, like when we opened to Kiel in Switzerland and things like that, or from what people have said at Firefest and so on. So we just try to, I think what we put together is our strongest songs, what will be our strongest live set, and what we execute the best as well. And we're not, you know, as much as we like to write a good ballad, we're not really big on doing them live, just simply because I think the energy drops too much.
Yeah.
I think if you have quite a long set, you know, if you're going to do an hour and a half or something like that, then you can afford to have a quieter space in the set. But if you're doing like an opening set like we're doing on this tour, I think it needs to just come out and just keep punching at you until they finish. So hopefully that's what we'll do, and we'll leave them in some degree hopefully wanting more. So.
Now, English audiences have got a bit of a reputation for being a little bit reserved. How do you find that when you played in the UK? How do you find the audience compares to Australia?
Well, I mean, the Australian audience has a reputation for being drunk and rowdy, so, but that's not necessarily always in a good way. So, you know, I think that the English audiences for this particular style of music are excellent. It's an incredibly loyal audience that this genre has.
Yeah.
They're devoted, you know, they're not just out there downloading songs for free, they're people that go out and buy the albums, they buy the t-shirts, they go to the shows. So I have a lot of respect for them from that point of view. So as much as I'm going to do my very best to try to get them enthused and into it and everything like that, I already have enough respect for them that I'm not going to, you know, push them too hard. So we just have to try to do our best and hope that they're into it.
So are there any plans at the moment for a live DVD in the future?
It's not something we really have thought about or talked about. You know, with everything being able to be filmed and uploaded to YouTube and all that stuff so quickly, I'm not entirely sure how commercially viable those products can be, especially a band like ourselves, or even in some way Serpentine in its infancy, with only 2 albums under our belt. I think if we had 4 albums and our 5th album would come out and be you know, what we felt the best songs were off all those 4 albums live and here they are on a DVD, I think that's the sort of thing that's really cool. But this early on, you know, I don't think we've been around long enough to do that.
It might surprise you that sometimes when we're doing interviews with bands, we put through our social media pages and other avenues to ask people to send any questions that they particularly want asking if there's any good ones in there. And one of the ones that kept coming back with regards to yourselves and also Serpentine was, are there any plans for a live DVD?
Right.
So there might be more of a market there.
Yeah, maybe.
You're thinking time.
Look, it's also something, as I said, I think that I would like to see it as more like almost like the end of a chapter, and then start again maybe with more new albums. But we'll see, you know, like maybe after the next record, we might want to do one. So.
Can you tell us anything about the next record, or?
Yeah, we've basically sort of agreed to put something out mid-2013, so it'll be the middle of next year. At the moment, we've got just sketches of ideas of what we're looking for as far as some of the songs. I've got a group of ideas that I want to bring together with my brother, Trent, Enzo, and we'll mould together the chorus demos and then sort of progressively do that. I think it's something that we'll probably start demoing up probably as soon as we get home from this tour. And I would say stylistically it'll probably move in the same direction that the last record did, which I think was, as much as it's similar to the debut, I think it's got a little bit, you know, just a little bit tighter in areas, and a little bit, you know, sort of you cross the T's, you dot the I's, you get a little bit more refined with what you're doing. So I hopefully think it'll move in the same progression as the first to the second, from the second to the third. So.
The second one's got a little bit more oomph than the first one, a little bit more of an edge to it.
Yeah, look, you know, it does, but at the same time, I hear songs like Cross the Bear and Tokyo Run, and they have a little bit more hard rock in their drive, which I think is almost lacking from the last record. But doesn't mean I like the last record better. So it's hard to say. I just think that we'll try to just write the best songs that we can, and hopefully better the last record, which is all we can ever try to do.
So finally, is there anything you'd like to say to your fans, or?
I just like to say thanks for being our fan. You know, like it means a lot to us that the fact that we're able to come from the other side of the world and that people like our music, and that we get to make this music and have it appreciated. You know, whether it be in our own backyard or in Europe or Japan, wherever. It's just a really cool thing, and it's not something we ever take for granted, because, you know, I'm a fan. I'm out there standing watching Tan or whoever else, so it's a cool scene and it's a cool sort of place to be at. So yeah, we're very happy and thankful for them. So thanks.
Thank you for doing the interview with us.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.